Hello. I decided to do a little chit chat type of video, diary entry type of video, and I did a video a few weeks ago, but I have not uploaded it, and I just kind of didn't like it, but I still kind of want to share that stuff that I talked about there. So I don't know if I'm gonna upload it, but if I decide not to upload it, and this is my first video that I have done since I don't know when, months. I just want to say that Black Lives Matter, and that shouldn't be something that upsets anyone because if all lives matter, then Black lives should matter, and that shouldn't be controversial. That aside, there's just been a few frustrations that I wanted to talk about. But okay, so first of all, right now I can't really even see myself right now because I have like this green lines on my screen, and I kind of wanted to get it fixed, or but then I was like, maybe I'm just gonna wait for the new iPhone so I can get a new iPhone, because I've been also thinking about getting a new phone. Kind of wanted to do this video while doing my makeup, but since we're gonna meet someone in a couple hours, I don't want to put makeup for that. So I'm gonna put makeup after the meeting. So I just want to do the little chit chat right now and a little bit of what has to do with the meeting, and yeah, my frustrations about that. So my parents want to buy a house, or wanted to buy a house, and that has been really frustrating. And I think it just has more to do with the fact of the people that we're working with. Okay, first I'm gonna say my feelings. Something just feels like wrong, and something just like of how they are, and it's hard to explain. But I have like actual things, events, actions that I can say, you know. So here they are, where it kind of made me a little bit like. So my dad was initially just gonna call the realtor, or yeah, to see like what were our options about buying a house at this moment, because I was telling him that he should wait since like people were saying that the house market was gonna crash and all of that, and so he was just gonna ask that. But I don't know what happened in that conversation, that all of a sudden my dad is telling me that the guy and that the realtor and a loan person are gonna come to the house, and I'm like, what? Okay, I'm just like, maybe they're just gonna talk. I'm like, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Why are they coming? But that aside, so I'm like, maybe they're just gonna talk. Maybe they're just gonna like, I don't know, exchange information, ask questions. I don't know. So they come. Eventually, then my dad is like, can you show them your how much money I get from like Social Security? And I'm like, okay, okay, I do that. And then they just say, if you guys have any questions, or you know email us, call us, text us. I'm like, fine, it's good. Probably that day or the next later, the realtor is sending us houses. So my parents are kind of like now in the, we're gonna buy a house. um, I'm like, okay, but in my mind I'm like, I don't really want to be in the loan. Why do they want to add me in the loan? But okay, I think we're just looking. We still have a lot of time. Buying a house is a long process. I don't think they're gonna buy anything right now. So they're sending us houses, and then he's telling us that maybe we can go see them. I can't, because I physically can't, since houses are not accessible, obviously. He's sending us houses through email. Then through the email, he says like, send us a list of houses so we can just go look at them. Like, okay. I didn't reply immediately because like, I feel like that choosing what house to see is like something my parents should be like deciding, not me or my sister, since we are the ones that have emails and we're the ones like checking. So then I think the next day I sent him a list of emails, a list of houses, and then he says something like that he can't do it the next day because he needs more time in advance, something like that. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. And then we kind of schedule so they could go look at houses. My sister is kind of communicating with him through email, and I don't see anything wrong with that. Like, where are we gonna meet? We're gonna meet at this time. Fine, good, right? So then they go see the houses. My sister, like I said, my sister's communicating through email, and then later in the day, because my dad actually kind of liked the house, so And like we are first time home buyers, so we don't know anything. See, so he tells us that there's an offer in the house. We don't know how that works. So my dad's kind of trying to explain that to me. I don't really understand. Then he calls and he says more information about like the offer and stuff like that and how that works. And then my dad puts on speaker so he can talk to me. I don't know. So I'm like asking questions, so can we put an offer, and this and that. And he just seems so like, I don't know, like he didn't want to like explain the process. And let me also say that this realtor, on his business card, it says that he specializes with working with first time home buyers. So I feel like maybe explaining a little bit of all of this is something that not just any realtor, but especially someone that focuses on first time buyers, um, should have no problem with. But he seemed a little bit like, um, then he tells me that, I need to tell that he was gonna tell the loan person to talk to me, the next day, blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay. So we hang up, and I'm just like, in some way it kind of feels like this is going so fast, like what the fuck, like put an offer and like blah blah, and me talking to the loan person. And then I realized later in the night, like at 2 in the morning, like, oh, he doesn't have my phone number. And I'm like, well, I'm just gonna wake up early, and maybe he's gonna email me, or I'll email him in the morning, telling him, giving him my phone number. So I wake up kind of early, not so early, but the next day I wake up, and I have an email from him, and he's like, from the realtor, can I have your phone number? I'm like, sure, this is my phone number. And then I have another email from the loan person, and then the loan person wrote this kind of nasty letter email. What's your guys' problem? Pretty much, what's your guys' problem with giving out phone numbers? I don't understand what's the problem. What exactly the issue here is of you guys not giving your phone numbers? Um, you guys should be the ones more concerned about this than anyone else. That you guys are just kind of pretty much saying you guys are just wasting time. Um, I'm like, reading this. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm just like, should I reply to this? What do I say? Because like, first of all, we don't have a problem. Like, we don't have a problem with giving out phone numbers. The way we've been communicating has been through email, and then my dad's phone number. My dad's the one who wants to buy the house. Even though my dad added me and my sister in the loan, that's another thing. Um, but that's our how we're communicating. And he never asked us like, hey, can we have your guys' phone numbers? And like, and then we were like, no. Then I would understand that. But I don't, up to this point, we had not communicated with him at all. He had not asked for our phone numbers. This is the first time we're trying to communicate, and my phone number was asked, and I gave it without a problem. So I'm like kind of like thinking what to reply. Then I get a phone call, and it's him, and I'm just like, and so he kind of tries to explain the process, but he's just like kind of like really fast, like in a hurry type of way. And so now I kind of understood what was going on, because we also had questions which the realtor didn't really want, I guess, to answer, because he wanted the loan person to answer them. And I was like, oh, okay. So we obviously were not gonna get the house, because that house already had 2 offers, and it was already getting way out of our budget. So then we're looking at more houses, and in some way I kind of have this feeling like the realtor doesn't really want us, or not wants us, but like, I know that I sent him another list, and he didn't say anything really about like going to see the houses or anything. He didn't say anything. And then he kept pushing us to buy they're making new houses at this place, at this town. And he was like pushing us to get like that house, and that house was better because the house was not gonna get was gonna be kind of perfect for us, and that house they're not gonna have offers like the other houses, and that for the other houses were gonna be hard because they were gonna get offers, and that we don't have like that big of a budget. We're like considering like our budget is, I feel like our budget is like okay, especially at the places that we're looking at. We're not looking like downtown Portland. We're looking like kind of rural. We're looking at rural areas, so this should be like okay. But that's another thing that I wish I could go more into detail. But we're just gonna keep it a little like this. I think at this point, since the other guy sent that email, pretty much saying like, "Guys, I'm wasting time," and blah blah blah. My parents are kind of like in a, and my mom is kind of like, well, let's just get that new house then, just, and I'm just like, we probably shouldn't, because we should be more like, oh, and mind you, when he's sending this email, the loan person, guys are wasting time, blah blah, it had not even been 2 weeks since they were here in the house. We were barely exchanging information. So I know some people take months, probably even like up to more than a year, looking for their perfect house. So I don't know why these people kind of seem such in a hurry, like, and like kind of being pushy and just kind of like, I don't know. It's just so hard to say like their attitude. I don't know. So yeah, so we just said, okay, well, I guess we're just gonna get the house, and um, and then also I think the realtor has not been like, so he sent us papers to sign and all of this because they're still like constructing the house, and we had to like make some choices, and I guess they sent him like, some prices if they added some things and some stuff. And I was looking at that, and I was trying to look at, how much it was for a refrigerator, because that's not gonna come included, so I just kind of wanted to compare prices. And then one of the pages that said like, look at page blah 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 for the prices, but then I realized that that page was not there, and then I kind of seem like, it does seem a little bit like it's missing a lot of stuff. And so I think, I mean, in some way I kind of understand, like maybe you're trying to make things easier for us and just sending us the papers that we have to sign and not like everything else. But in some way also I think you should be sending everything, if we're going to be buying the house, we should be seeing everything, so that's kind of like a problem that I had. And then as of recently, it seems like they are putting a gas stove. I don't know how you say that, gas stove. I don't know. So my parents don't want a gas stove. They want an electric gas. So my dad called him about that. And then my mom told me that he said that for me to call the realtor. So I can like, I don't know, I guess verify that. I don't know. I don't know why he couldn't just go to the papers and be like, oh yeah, gas stove. He's the realtor. I don't know why I have to call him. So I called him days later, almost a week later. So I don't know. You would think he would be like, oh yeah, I looked it up or something. But he sounds like, oh yeah, about that. And then he's like, well, in pretty much saying that he's not sure. And I'm like, I'm looking at the papers right now, and it says gas range stove, whatever. And then he's like, oh yeah, okay, well, good thing you told me so I can tell them. And this is the thing, it's like they are polite, but at the same time it's like, let me just tell you this exchange. Oh yeah, that's a good thing, that you're telling me this so I can tell them. And actually electric should be cheaper than gas, so they shouldn't have a problem with that, blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, good, that sounds great. He's like, well, I'll talk to you later in the day. I'll call you so I can check the papers, because right now I'm driving. And this is what they always say when I talk to them on the phone, because I've been the one I've been the one having to like read the papers, talk to them over the phone, email them. And pretty much that's what they always say. Oh, I'm so busy, I have this client. Oh, I'm in this meeting, I'm seeing these two people. Oh, I'm doing this other two papers, and I'm doing, like, I'm just like, okay, like, low-key, I don't care. I mean, I know you guys are busy, but like, I don't know, like, kind of what's the purpose. In some ways, kind of like, in kind of way, I feel like they're saying it as a way of like, oh, I'm in a hurry, like, hurry up. And, oh, I don't know, but that's what they always say. Like, oh, we're doing this, we're busy, blah blah. So he tells me I'll contact you later in the day. No, actually he said at 5. And then I'm like, okay. And he doesn't contact me at all. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. He'll call tomorrow. It's fine. Like I'm not in a hurry. I don't care. The next day passes, nothing. And I'm like, okay, well, it's fine. I'll just wait one day because I don't want to text him or call him and in the weekend, and it's fine. And then Monday comes, Tuesday comes, and that's kind of the day where the wildfires started coming in, and like the sky was orange, and I totally forgot about this until like later on. My mom asked me, I think it was like Wednesday or Tuesday, and then I'm like, oh, he said he was gonna call me, but he never did. I'll talk to him later. And I kind of forgot about it, and then I remember Friday, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna contact him. But then I realized that he actually texted me that day, and so I don't know for what exactly, but we exchanged text messages. And then I was like, oh, so about the gas, about the stove, what happened with that? And then he just completely ignored me, which is like, have a good evening. And I'm like, excuse me, about the gas, the gas stove. My parents are kind of asking about it. I just want to know an answer. Um, I'll check it out later, um, and later let you know, something like that. I'm like, okay. And I think that was last Friday. And today is Thursday, I believe. Yep, today is Thursday. So it's been almost a week now since he said he was gonna um, let me know, and he hasn't. And then also that day that the realtor texted me, and I asked him about the gas. The loan person also contacted me saying that things that he got a call from the realtor that morning saying that everything is kind of accelerating, and that now we have to like kind of start preparing to sign the papers for the loan, I guess something about the 30 days before getting the house, and that he needed all of this information. So I'm like, oh, that's great. And then I talked to him over the phone, and so did my dad, and he's pretty much saying that the realtor called him to tell him that everything's accelerating, and he's pretty much kind of like, you guys don't know? I'm like, no, like even though I had just exchanged messages with him, he didn't tell me anything. And I mean, like, and my mom like, maybe that's fine, like he'll let me know later. And like I tell you, I think this was, if it wasn't last Thursday, it was last Friday, and today's Thursday now. So throughout this whole week, the realtor has not contacted me to say anything that things are accelerating and that we should get preparing. And then the loan person also, the way he just sends messages and he just writes messages like, you guys have, you guys have to help me. Guys have to cooperate. Pretty much saying, you guys have to cooperate if you guys want me to help. I can't help you guys without helping you guys. Like, he's using this type of language. I'm just like, in what moment did we not like give him information or exchange? I don't know why he's writing that. Like, this is our barely kind of like actual communication where we're actually doing documents with the loan person, because since we've been looking at house, we've just been talking to the realtor, not to the loan person. And since now, I guess something about the 30 days before, now we're actually like, I guess, applying for the application for the loan, or I don't know. Oh, also another thing about this. So when the realtor came, I mean, the loan person came, and he said, this is what you guys are kind of qualified for to get a house and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, okay, good. Literally, probably like 3 weeks later, he sends us, actually, no, probably 3 weeks later after he sent us that, like, you guys are wasting time and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, why are you, okay, you're barely sending this. It seems like this should have, oh, and I know this should have been something he should have done like since the beginning, because in the paper it says, this is a paper that you can show to home sellers to show that you guys are like serious about buying a house and that you guys already are pre-approved. But then again, he's sending this when we like already, like, I think past a month of us like already looking for a house. And I think at this point we already decided that we were gonna get that house. So, oh yeah, like I said, the loan person just using this type of language like, you guys have to help me, and blah blah. I don't know, like when he asked for the information, I pretty much sent. I sent him. He asked for the information Friday night, and I sent him all the information he needed Monday. So I don't know. It was Monday in the evening because my dad had to get some stuff from his work, and I'm just like, I don't know, like. So the loan person is gonna come today. Oh, and then I asked him too, to the loan person, do I like, am I in, am I actually contributing to being in the loan, or am I like affecting kind of the rate, the interest or whatever, because I don't have a job. Like I don't know why am I being included. I don't have a job. The only thing I'm including here is that like my student loans. That's the only thing I'm including. And then he's like, oh, well, what's the problem with that? I'm like, I'm asking you a question if it's like positive, or if I'm actually just like damaged. Oh, you're always a positive. You're always good. I'm like, okay, no, like I'm asking here, like if it's like bad or if it's good, if you like not include me, if I'm not included, is it like better for them, or and then he's like, oh, but I think your dad would feel more comfortable if you are there, if you are in the loan, right? No, and then he's like, your daddy. He's like, if your daddy is in the, and I'm just, also I hate when people talk to me like that. Like, don't talk to me like that. Your daddy's gonna feel more comfortable if you're in the loan, or blah blah. And then he's like, or not, and tells him because we're on speaker. And then my dad's like, well, only if she's comfortable with it. And he's like, okay, that he was gonna look into it. I'll look it up later. I'll look it up and make the comparisons. But for now, send me your information. But I don't. Then I guess he talked to my dad, and he told him that he's gonna come today. And now I'm to my dad like, why is he coming? Like, what's happening? And he's like, I don't know. He said something about signing papers. I'm like, do you? Also, this is what annoys me. It's like, Dad, can you be more informed? Like, what's going on? So I don't know. He's coming to sign papers, and I'm gonna get really pissed if he didn't even like acknowledge that I said that I didn't really want it to be in the loan. So if he just brings the papers and it's like, oh, I didn't even check. Oh shit, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. But yeah, so there's a mosquito here. Yeah, so I'll come back and because I think he's gonna be here probably if not in 30 minutes, in an hour. And so we'll see how that goes. I just don't want to be I don't want to be in the loan, because like I just feel like that also takes away from my chances of like if I want to buy a new house, like I can't then like, can I get that, like, I don't know, go through the first home buyers program? I don't know. And also I'm just like, shouldn't this also be a thing that the loan person is kind of like talks about, like, hey, I don't think this is a good contribution because she doesn't have a job, so why are we adding her, or something like that. And also with the realtor, like it just seemed like he didn't like fully like explain to us also things, what was happening or how things work, or like with the offers. And my parents are like, right now they're not really happy about the house, but I'm like, well, that's why you guys chose, at the end of the day you guys chose that. And like, even though I was telling you guys that this should be a matter of months of looking for a house, not this quickly. And also I was telling them when I got that email, I was like, if this was a me thing, I would have said, I'm not working with you guys. Like, I'm not working with people that talk like that, that send messages like that, or that kind of it feels like they don't want to explain things, or it feels like they're trying to make us hurry to get a house, or pushing us to get a house. Like, I would have found already someone else. And they were just like, oh, I know, but they just don't say much. And like, and also I know they're kind of in a hurry to buy a house because they don't want to live here anymore. So yeah, and it's just annoying. One thing is like, okay, you guys want to buy the house, okay, go ahead. If you guys are in a hurry, don't like the house, still buying it at that amount of money and that location, your guys' thing. But if I'm including the loan, it's kind of like, and this is my frustration of my life right now. Um, but yeah, let's see how it goes later. I'll be back.